Teams open on my computer, but it keeps popping up instant messages.
Good evening. It's February 17th, and I am calling the special board meeting to order at 5 o'clock p.m. I'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, you may proceed with the roll call.
Supervisor Hutchings.
Here.
Clerk Stage, here. Treasurer Wiersma.
Here.
Diana Langshaw, absent with cause. Mike Beeks. Lynn Harmon.
Here.
Todd White. Rob Thal is not present.
Thank you. We do have some members in attendance. Thank you for coming tonight. I wanted to draw your attention to the board, the shelf over there. We do have agendas. We do have a press release regarding municipal water from November 2024. We also have various pieces of information that might be of interest to folks sitting here. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to grab us after the meeting concludes, and I can help you out with further information. I am seeking a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
I have a motion and support to approve the agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. I'd be seeking a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion. I'll support.
We have a motion and support to accept the consent agenda as presented. Is there any?
I have one question on it. I looked through my packet and I didn't see anything what was on streetlights. So what am I missing?
So you're missing because you weren't at the last budget meeting where we discussed streetlights. So it's something that we're going to have to talk about during this board meeting. There's nothing
There's nothing we're
paper to give
approving
you.
based on the consent agenda. Then it's just
going to be a discussion item.
okay.
As evidence, because there is no discussion or motion next to it. Thank you for that question. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. We're up to citizen comment. You have 3 minutes to address the Ross Township Board. Please speak up. You're being recorded for our YouTube presentation. We would appreciate if you clearly state and spell your last name for our minutes. We don't need your street address. Citizen comment is designed for one-way commentary to address the board. All citizens providing comments should address the remarks to the supervisor, board chair, who may respond to provide brief factual information. Board members will refrain from speaking during citizen comment, and if citizens need specific assistance, please contact Ross Township during business hours for additional guidance or information. Who would like to lead us off tonight? We have a quiet bunch. Nobody's making their way, so we are opening at 5:06 and we are closing at 5:06, clerk. We are now moving into new business, and I will be relinquishing my chair and giving it to Trustee Harmon, and she's going to take it from here.
All righty, let's see.
Do you need the microphone,
there-
Lynn?
Yeah, it says it's recorded.
Yep, let me grab it for you.
Pick it up. All right, so this is our budget meeting. For those that haven't ever been to a budget meeting, we work on it, and then at the next board meeting, actually right before it, there'll be a public hearing meeting where we'll present it, take comments, and people can, and then we'll vote on it. So we're not voting on it tonight. So the way this is laid out, over on this tab, this is a download that comes right out of BSNA, our software. And so we just download that when we're getting ready to work on this. And then it then goes through and puts it into kind of usable tables. This one is labeled current, and if you're sitting in the back row and can't read it, I'd blow it up a little bit further, but then we'd end up with like one cell per screen here. So it has the GL number, and then this is just broken out into the fund, the department, the account, and then if it's revenue, and then a description, and then it gets over. So that's all that's all the current stuff. And then we go into, we're gonna spend our time tonight in the proposed detail tab. So again, when you look over here at the far left, you see the exact same information. And then we have the original budget. So we can go back and see a year ago, approximately, what we approved. And then amended budgets. So if you have spent your life in the private world, you set a budget. I say this every time because it floors me. You set a budget at the beginning of the year, and you work all year against that budget. And at the end of the year, and periodically throughout, you say, how are we doing against that budget? In government, we are required by law to not go over our budget. So we then have to amend our budget. So we therefore can't go over it because it gets amended. So that's why you see an amended budget. And then during the year, about once a quarter, we go through and do a detailed look at it. And then as we hit the preparation for the budget meeting, we're looking at it every month and making any amendments that have to be done. So we're going to do two steps here. The first step is we're going to go through the proposed to see if we have to make an amendment. And so when you see a cell in blue, that means it's different than the last time we amended it, whether it's up or down. So you can look here, and based on the split fees, they came in a little bit higher than we had last. And we can be under budget, we can't be over budget. So we brought that up to match it. I'm gonna go ahead and sit down here so I can. If we come on down a little bit further, maps, labels, addresses, that a little bit, we were at 225, 270, so we bumped it to 300. And then we got continuing education, got some revenues in. Last time at 515, now we're at 1,000. And so just a few changes on the revenue side. Any questions? As we come down into the expenditures, so this last year we've really focused on putting stuff where it occurs. So in the past we had, like, professional services were kind of lumped up into a big category. So they're now spread out where they belong, whether it's the Township, the Planning Commission, the ZBA, the police, you name it. So we have some categories where we budgeted higher. And you'll see here that when you look at these, there's no expense. We don't want to take it all the way to zero because we want to keep it active. So we just dropped everything down to 200 in the professional services, attorney expenses, printing and publishing, and repair. And that's, you'll see this repeat a couple different times as we go through. The supervisor county level alternate, that was up just a little bit higher than what we last put it at. So 400 to 500. We come down, here's another one of those 200. Mileage for the clerk, a little bit, actually, this is one that, so in the past, we haven't put a whole lot of focus in taking stuff down, but to just have a cleaner look at where we were, or where we are, we did go through and bump quite a few things down. Let's see, this one was a down, there's no I'm not gonna stop on those 200s. All right, this is, again, Social Security is another one that stuff has been spread out. So this was a bigger bucket and this is probably still sitting a little high, but as things come in, same thing with this is all around benefits here. So those are brought down. Elections, so this was a low year for elections. Next year is gonna be a bigger year. So when we get over to the budget side, these numbers are going to come up quite a bit. Salary hall assistant, this one is up. And this is a role that we've been putting some more resources on to a couple people, or resources, more tasks. A little bit higher on the video alarm and fob services. The AGS professional services, this is one that a big chunk of it is just flow through. So you see revenue come in when people are filing for permits, and then we have to pay out to AGS. Lawn mowing, so that one came down. The internet, so we've gone to, in the past where we had the internet access DSL, it's now all through our phone service. Thank you, Mary. Here's on the IT, a little bit up on the IT service under police. Lawn mowing, this is one where, again, as we've spread it out on the police versus fire. Here's professional services, and this is an area, so under engineering, this is an area, when you saw it in other, probably up in other areas that where it got pushed out from the engineering side. Attorney expenses down under the planning commission. And attorney expenses for the zoning board. All right. So when we come over, I've got a table. Don't look at the screen while I'm scrolling, I'll make you dizzy. So over here, let's see if this will all fit in. So this is just a couple different ways to look at this. So here's our original budget that we did a year ago, our amended budget, and our proposed. So this is revenues, expenses, and difference. So when we approved the budget last year, we intentionally were going to spend into our, call it a rainy day fund, by $250,000. As we've amended, we amended it down to 218. The proposal right now has it all the way down to 139. And when you look at, I think it's this one down here. When you look at this one right here, this is the current fiscal year-to-date balance. Now, because some things are annual and some things, they don't hit smoothly throughout the year, it's not a perfect thing to look at. But if you look at it right now, that delta is only 28,000 versus where we were. This is actual balances to look at, and then here's the proposed that we're going to go through those details. So up above, we had been, for the last couple of years, we had proposed to eat in about 250,000, and each year it's come in almost exactly balanced. This year, at the moment, we're at about 75,000. Now, one of the things that's changed is our last payment for this building, which started, I don't know, Diana's not here to remind us. We've been paying on the building, Mary Carol, for 10 years?
I think. Yeah.
10, 15?
2016.
Oh, 2016. Oh, yeah, so going on 10 years. So this will be our last payment that'll be made in March, which is this fiscal year. So that's a big difference. Okay. So let's look at, so we're going to come back over here, and we're going to focus on this green. And I'm going to hide these because this is all about this year. So we can see. I'm going to hide that one too. All right, so you're seeing the original budget, amended budget, proposed. So before we do that, we got to any questions on the proposal that's there before us for this year? All right, I move we accept the amended budget as
Resolve.
presented. I resolve.
I'll support. We have a resolution with support to accept the current amended budget.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
amended one that we just went over in the blue.
Correct.
Okay.
Trustee White,
Aye.
Trustee Beeks. Trustee Harmon,
Aye.
Clerk Stage, aye. Treasurer Wiersma,
Aye.
Supervisor Hutchings.
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Okay, now we're going to switch on to the next fiscal year, 26, 27 budget. And so these are so that what's built in here, unless we have, we built in based on the projected inflation, 3.1% is what's built in. So unless it was overridden, it's got a 3.1% growth on both on the revenue side and on the expense side. And in the case of the revenues, Amanda gets insight out of Lansing on what some of the numbers are going to be, so we just override them. So you can see the description here. So we've got current taxes that come in at 303,500. We've got the PILT from MSU at 9,800. Interest on taxes. The administrative fees, if anybody's got questions on more about what those are that the description doesn't give. We've got the summer collection reimbursement. This principal and interest, this was a special assessment that's going away, so that's why it's zeroed out. Cable fees are going down every year as people are switching, cutting the cable and going to using their Wi-Fi. Township permit fees, the liquor fund, you can see the numbers there. Here's another big one on the state shared revenue. That is projected to be down this next year. Cemetery sales. There's two things. If we sell a lot or we render a service, they come in different buckets.
It's like burials, so those are like a pass-through fee.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a fee to open and close, and then we have to pay the person to do that. And let's see, we got a site plan review fees. Then these are some of the pass-through ones, building permits, FOIA requests. Get down here, interest. Here's another bigger one, interest. So we end.
All investments, including the cemetery fund?
The taxes, one is separated out towards the top, but that's the general fund.
All right, so this interest is all interests, all our funds, including cemetery. All right, so you can see this gives you an idea of where it falls in. The puts and takes pretty darn close to where we're ending up this year, or appear to be ending up. Any questions on revenue?
You did a great job.
All right, as we come down, at this point, so we set the salaries during this process, and once they're set, they're very seldom ever moved. But we have built in just the standard 3.1 that's in there.
I know I missed the budget meeting, but was that tied to something?
Yeah,
What was it tied to?
it's tied to what's being projected from the government.
Ola,
Thank you.
I have an article on that back here if you'd like it.
Could we tie it to Social Security before, prior to?
The townships, when they're doing this, we're all uniform, we use COLA.
All right. So right now, we've got this 200 that we amended is feeding over, I think any reason to change these? Okay. So if you come down, so as we come down, I'm just gonna kind of slowly work down to look at it, and if there's something that jumps out that is, right now, all of these are just that 3.1. It's when we get down into the clerk, and Mary, if you can just highlight some of those. It was all in the elections, wasn't it? So all in the elections, everything else is here. Occasionally, there's a training here or there. So last year, we'd put some more funds into training. That's been back down. Equipment,
That
That-
equipment for clerk can be changed.
that needs to go to elections, right?
Yeah. So you can change that to, I can't imagine us needing more than 2,000 again this year.
All right.
But I would like you to increase my training because I am going to join the municipal group for clerks and I want to go to their conference next year.
So how much is that?
I think you should put 2,000 for right now. And I'll check for sure and then I'll
Oops.
let you know.
Did I get an
That's a
extra- got an
lot.
extra-
No, that's way too much.
Got an
Got an
extra
extra
20
zero
grand
in
in there.
All right. Border review. And so some of these, like the border review, because there may be, this is one that we can have different number of reviews, right? And so it can go down, can go up a little bit, but it's not gonna drastically change. Amanda, and you look at the treasurer, anything sitting here specifically, because training, your training number is right here at 15.
I do have an additional training opportunity next year, so if you can bump that up to 2,000 as well.
All right, on equipment, anything you're expecting?
No.
Can I take that down to 1,000?
I can't think of, I think in our equipment budget is generally our software purchase annually.
Yep.
And I think that runs about 1,500, so I don't think there's anything
just-
else equipment wise.
I might just take it down to
treasurer's
two.
office needs.
Take it down to 2,000.
Okay.
All right. The assessor, anybody know anything that might change that from an equipment standpoint?
You're gonna have to leave her equipment there too because
Okay.
Does she have a professional services? Okay, that's 100.
Yep.
Okay.
And before the final review, I'll probably put a round feature in there, just to round everything probably to the nearest, like, $10 or something. There's no sense having, not that watching our pennies isn't important. All right, benefits. So, this is one that, once we get through the year, we may come, this may be one of the first ones that gets amended to make sure we have everything in the right bucket. That, for those who are thinking, how do you not know what goes in what bucket? BS&A, the software we use, that basically all the townships and I think the government agencies use, they changed the GL account structure a year ago. So we're still cleaning up some of that and getting stuff in the right. All right, so elections, this is the one that is going to be,
okay, so this coming year in 2026, we will have 4 elections. 3 elections, May, August, and November. So obviously we have to increase our salaries for our election inspectors. So that is a rough guesstimate of how much that will be our charges for that. Our supplies, we're thinking that, we have to send out all of our absentee ballots, all of our, any information that we need to send to the community. So our, postage will go up from this year. So that also shows that, and also shows other supplies that we will be needing. Our contracted services, that went up because this is the year that we will have our contract with the county for early voting. And that is their estimate of what it will cost us to do early voting with the county, which is still way cheaper than us trying to do it on our own, believe me. The mileage went up, of course, because we do a lot of running around during election season. We have some publishing that we have to take care of in the ways of, again, expressing things to our constituents. Training will depend on how much of our election inspectors have to go through training again this year. I think all of them are up, so we will pay them to go to the county for their training on that.
So is 700, how many inspectors do we have altogether?
I don't know how many we have altogether, but we figured that that would be enough
Okay,
this
all right.
afternoon. If we run into something, we'll let you know. The equipment is up because we have to buy new equipment this year for our elections.
So just
It's
make sure,
all
but
of-
we're mandated
We are mandated.
to buy new equipment.
Yes. So we have to buy all new tabulators for all of our precincts, all new easy votes for people that are impaired. We have to get new equipment for that. So the state and the county is recommending for $15,000 per precinct. So we have 2 precincts that we have to totally outfit. But then we also have our AV board. And one of the things that we have been discussing at clerk meetings is getting an extra tabulator, because if you have a tabulator that goes out during an election and you don't have an extra one where you can take it to the polling place, then you have to wait until the end of the day of the election at 8 o'clock when everything shuts down, and bring all of that material back here and run it through a tabulator that works, which means we could be here for hours tabulating all that. So if we have an extra tabulator, in case of an emergency, we can take it out and make sure that we can tabulate. Also, at our bigger elections, having an extra tabulator means that we can use it in our AV board, which is absentee ballots, so that we're running both precincts at the same time. Right now, we run precinct 1 through the tabulator and then precinct 2. If we have an extra one during those high elections, then we can run them both at the same time, which means they're here less time doing that job. So that is something, if the board decides not to buy an extra tabulator, obviously that cost will go down, but I think it's a benefit to the elections to have an extra tabulator. So that is in that cost.
Are any of those costs reimbursable to us by somebody?
Well, the clerks have come together all across the state of Michigan, and we have written a letter to the state of Michigan telling them that we all need help in buying our new equipment. And we would like to see them put that in the budget to help us out. So we'll see where that goes.
Any of the election costs, is that reimbursable?
Yes, some of them are reimbursable. What that will be, again, is up to the state.
Do we have a revenue line for that?
We do have a election reimbursement revenue line. We don't know what the revenue is, so there's nothing in there because we didn't have any elections this year to be reimbursed for.
But yes, we do put in for reimbursement, but it is what the state will reimburse us for.
Did you use that revenue line from the last time you had the 3 major elections?
Well, we offset the costs of
Phase.
what our costs were for the previous elections, yes, from that revenue income.
Not just so you didn't have to have a 0 in that column, you could just use that number as a base, just so it shows up on the budget.
But we can do that, yes.
So go back and look at 24?
Yep, 24. We
And
can
see
go
what the
back.
revenue is? All right. All right, so down into the hall. Everything here is running off of the 3.1.
Oh, can we go back to the household waste? That's gonna be an item that we're gonna fill
Yep,
in
it's
tonight.
right-
What
it's
did you
right
have
here.
in there?
So again, it's a three, it's got the 3.1, so we're sitting at 7,433. We could round to call it, I know you got, so we need this number to let the city of Kalamazoo know.
Yep.
And so a lot of people don't know that as a township, part of what we do is we commit for hazardous waste. So if you're a resident of Ross Township, we want your hazardous waste dealt with properly. So you can go over, it's over by the Expo Center, right?
Yes.
And you can take hazardous waste in there, like paint, computer monitors.
Old
I just
TVs.
Latex paint, all that.
Yeah, I just replaced some fluorescent lights, so I gotta go take the light
Batteries,
bulbs in.
yep.
Batteries. So, so you wanna just do 7,400, 7,500?
Yeah, we have to fill that in tonight. We have to agree to that tonight. I just wrote down what you captured right there,
Okay,
which I think is appropriate.
okay.
Worst case scenario, it gets overused. They could send us an amendment
Yep.
or bill us.
All right.
On the attorney fees for Hall, I mean, we were gonna be breaking out who was using the attorney, right?
We,
So what is that $54,000 is that considered fire?
you know,
No. Fire is broken out, ZBA is broken out, and PC is all broken out. A lot of that includes FOIAs, just regular attorney fees, Rob coming to our meetings, any other discussions that we have with our attorney concerning things that come up during the month.
I think back in December we asked.
Can you use your microphone, please?
We asked for the attorney fees and broken out what they were, and I don't know if in January did that report come out, because I didn't see it. Where we wanted to see, like if Rob had $100,000 worth of bills all in, we'd like to know how much of it was for what, so that it's just not a general catch-all
no,
category
he
like that.
does that.
He does that on his bill. If you want to see, you can stop in my office.
So we asked for a report so that, and maybe that's something the clerk would do, is break that out. Because, people are talking that, every time he opens an email, it's 15 minutes, but we don't know whose emails he's opening up or who's sending them. If we wanted to control it, we should be able to see it.
Do you want me to put those bills in our packet?
Not necessarily. I just wanted a report from last year. I think that's what I asked for in December, but I wasn't here in January. So I don't know if,
So you want a more granular look at it than the
Yeah.
categories in here?
That's kind of my thinking.
So do
And
you
that's
want
what-
me to break it out, just like how many emails he opened, how many times someone called him, how many?
Well, whatever he puts on his report, if it's some way to track that. And I've seen some of his billings, and they're like 17, 18 pages long, right?
Yes,
And it
they are.
identifies the minutes, but if you can come up with a category of what the minutes are for, then, like, it might be, a phone
Mm-hmm.
call from Christina. It might be a phone call from you. It might be a phone call
Right,
from a
I'm
trustee.
not sure, can I look at the bills again
Sure.
before I speak? Because I'm trying to remember if he breaks it out per minute.
I think it's per 15.
Well, I'm just trying to remember if it was,
All right.
how his bills look.
And I just think, again, if we had that granular look, there might be some things we can do together to say, hey, let's minimize this time.
Yeah, no, I
that's-
agree. So let me sit down with his bills and see how I can put that in a spreadsheet for something that we can
Does
look
it come
at.
in a PDF?
They send it to me as a PDF. It's not in something I can manipulate from what they give to me.
I can work with you on
So-
that.
Okay.
We should be able to
Right.
pull it in. Okay, moving on down the list. Yes, all these are still at the 3.1. This one has got a note to deactivate it because we talked about it going to our phone. So we're still in the hall. Here's the accrued building fund that goes to zero. The one thing that I would like to see us do is take what was earmarked for the building and set aside a capital fund. So take 50,000, which is not in there right now. So put 50,000 in there that at the beginning of the year, Amanda takes 50,000, puts it into a specific fund so we can see it, and it would show that we paid it. We're not paying it outside. We're just shifting it from kind of the P&L to the balance sheet. And that way we can,
It's a budgeted line
it's a
item.
budgeted line item that we are consciously putting into targeted for capital improvement. So should the, someday the roof will need to be replaced, hopefully, 20 years down the road or more, the boiler, if, something like that happens, we are building it up. And then on top of that would be then to come along with a capital plan. So if, I would like to, between now and next, our final, add that in, if everybody's good with that. Any
So you're just throwing 50,000 out there as a
I think
proposal?
I would start with 50. We're paying 100 on the building. And it could be 25, 30.
No, I was thinking more. I mean,
Well, we talked earlier about the roof, repairing up here, some of the doors. If we had an idea over the next 5 years, and I don't know who we would get that from, but then we'd break that out, say, 1/5 of that over the next 5 years.
Right.
Then I think you'd be able to put some logic behind
Right.
what the number is.
So I've got a little bit of information on that. What other townships do is they actually engage their planning commission to look at some of those thoughts. We've been talking about, we're running out of cemetery space. We've been talking about potentially a columbarium. Those are things that is right in the planning commission's wheelhouse. And I think when we get there, when we set aside the dollars, we would engage the planning commission to be able to bring us back some thoughtful suggestions on where these big ticket items would fall in a capital improvement plan.
How about we put the line item in and we put a future action item that maybe the board sending guidance or request down to the planning commission to let's between the two bodies, let's build out this capital plan. Based on that, we can come back and amend this number.
I'm fine with that.
Does that work with you?
That works for me, yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay. Todd, does that work for you? All right, working down into the police. We've got the salary, maintenance, liability, workers' comp, supplies, gasoline. All right, so everything here is, so this is one that you'll see that this is not necessarily based on the 3.1. There's a budget that was submitted. Some of the departments, the planning commission submitted one, the ZBA submitted one, the fire submitted one.
Did Richland confirm the 30,000, or are they going to be going up in that price? I think we currently have, 2,500 a month, right? Did they say next year they're going to keep it at 2,500?
I think that is a comment in our next budget. I mean, in
Well,
our
he's
next
talking about the
meeting.
agreement. So two things are going on. So Martin is working with the Richland PD to work on the monetary that you're talking about, and he's been working with Amanda, submitted his budget just like everybody else did. Martin's also been working on, did you want to talk about it? I don't want to step on your toes, the agreement portion. The agreement portion has not been amended since it was created, and so he is working with Richland PD, and a future new version will come before this board, probably next month, do you think? Yeah. So that's just an FYI for the board that has been revisited. There's a couple asks that we are requiring to be put into that, and then Martin's going to work with that with Richland PD, and that'll come back before it's executed.
Should have something to hopefully amend before we have to decide on our budget for next year, Martin.
That's the plan. I was hoping to have it this way, but it's log jammed right now over at the attorney's office.
Okay,
Sure the wording's correct.
okay.
Wise, thank you.
All right. So moving on down. All right, fire board. Got the salaries there in line.
I think that can be decreased.
Well, I think we need to wait till we get the agreement
Okay.
signed. Building permits, professional service. Again, this is where we get some of those flow-through accounts. Drains, roads.
Can I go back to the police just for a minute? I know
Yeah.
at one point we were talking about somebody to help out on the lake in the summer and a deputy and all that. Is that off the table at this point?
You're going to have to talk, so can you come up to the
I mean,
mic?
well, when I say off the table, we don't need to talk about it, but it's not in the budget. That's what I wanted to know. If it's deliberately,
Gull Lake Water Quality gives us grants money, and that's what we've used in the past, so it doesn't come out of the general fund.
okay. So it would not show up as a revenue and it would not show up as an expense like an AGS then, right? It's just a grant.
So Martin, you don't have a microphone, so I just want to reiterate for our folks at home. What you're indicating is that your additional bodies that are on for Lake Patrol, you get through gifts and donations. Thank you, Lynn. Okay.
Okay. No, I'm fine with that then.
You're okay with that? Okay.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Okay.
so, okay. I give it back to you now.
Thank you, Martin.
All right.
Good question.
Okay, let's see. Then we get down to the cemetery. So the cemetery has its own fund, but then there's also the ongoing maintenance that we have to cover out of the general ledger. So you see these numbers, and this is where we saw some revenue coming in, and so there's going to be some costs when things have to, when there's an internment and doing an open and close fee. And then obviously you've got a hefty ticket for lawn mowing and snow removal. And then we get down to the planning commission. Planning commission submitted their budget. Same with the zoning board. All right, and so then we get down here to the total. And then down below, we also have the fire. We got two tables, the revenue and because it's a separate fund. So you got the revenue and the expenditures. And so here's their budget, their items. And then we come down and look at their expenditures. So keep that number, 543, in mind. And as we come down,
Okay,
540.
Can I just,
Yeah.
there was something that I saw that I think was different in the police budget compared to, you can go back up to the clerk budget. For the insurance lieu, I think he had 6,000. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the insurance lieu for my salary was 61 or something like that. So there's a discrepancy, or,
Should all be the same.
yeah, right, they should all be the same.
It's probably just the matter of, the 3.1, so we can go
So
up
he,
there.
yes, so he must have just
He-
moved his over,
Yeah.
kept it the same, and I think, so we need to take a look, I think, at the treasurers, the clerk, and the hall. The supervisor up there too.
Where did oh. There we go.
Okay.
Good catch, Mary.
Oops.
Oh.
There we go. All right.
Just go to the bottom of our budget again, and just to show the revenue and the expense. Like 1.368, and our expense is 1,295.
That's proposed.
Right.
So over here, oops.
But you didn't put the 50,000 in, that's what I'm,
Oh, yeah, so if you wanted to come up at a,
you may wanna put that 50 in
yeah,
that
So
we're
if you-
thinking about, right?
yep, so if you come
Good start.
here, it would go into here. So right now, so that would go up.
But if that expense, that,
So what I'll do, I'll tell you what I'll do for right now, the, building, I'll just add it
Right.
in there for, it's under
then it will
all.
reflect it, okay, yeah, because I was gonna say, was it based on what we had last year that should already be reflected, but you put it to 0?
So my question is, do we need a resolution to restrict that?
We will next
Okay.
month when we,
Covered at the public hearing, then we're gonna hear what people have to say, and then I think it becomes a board decision at that point.
Okay.
'Cause obviously, it won't be in an accrued building fund, but
Correct.
we just want to have it there so that if we're just looking at the bottom number, we're not thinking we're in clover.
True. Okay.
okay. All right, then we have the park down here after the fire. So.
Can you share what the new building expenses are for the fire? You had like the $250,000 in there, right there, line 234.
234.
That is not,
That's the fire capital improvement fund.
Right.
So that's the new fire truck. So
we probably
anything that's
need to
not used
change
within the
it.
budget for operating, that number gets adjusted. So if
So
operating
we
goes
need-
up, that figure
We need
goes
to
down.
edit the description.
Right,
Be helpful, thank you.
I'll change it.
Okay, and then down to the park. So our last year, and the budget matches the activity pretty well. So we brought in 37 in revenue, projecting 38, and we had 40. Well, our proposed, we actually ended up almost spot on with slightly ahead revenue. If I shifted or looked at the activity, the actual, but and as we get a little bit closer to summertime, we'll discuss the park as far as the fees and everything, which again are fees for parking, not for entrance.
Did the Rotary ever decide what they were gonna do at the park? You had brought up last year that they wanted to do some type of,
They have not. No, they have not.
so we.
The
could-
things that we need done at the park are pretty significant ticket items, and it's outside of their budget.
Okay,
That doesn't mean they're not going to partner on some
Right,
project,
right.
but we don't know yet.
All right, so that is where we stand. If anything comes up, shoot Mary or Amanda, myself a note on it. We will do the same thing
Nice
next
work,
month.
both of you, all of you, three, and Amanda too, and Christina,
Yep,
because,
correct.
like I say, compared to where we were 3 years ago, this is amazing.
Compared to where we were
Yep. So,
6 years ago.
So we're going to have a budget hearing, our next board meeting, which is the 16th, March 16th. And it will be, is it March, look at it and see.
March 17th.
March 17th will be our budget hearing. It will be at 5 PM, which is ahead of our regularly scheduled
And
meeting.
that will be a public hearing.
Correct. And to answer your question, trustee Beeks, the advertising for, legal advertising for MLive and things like that, that also comes with an attorney expense along with that as well.
and I think that was caught in each of the PC and the ZBA budgets, so it's not part of Hall.
Right.
So I believe.
For our budget hearing?
Pardon me?
Not for our advertising our budget hearing.
Oh, no, I understand that.
No.
I
okay,
thought you were
alright.
talking about just general announcements for meetings. Okay.
Well, I will move that we adjourn this special part of our meeting.
You need second citizen comment first.
Oh,
in my
sorry.
opinion.
I was trying to,
It is 5:54 PM. We are moving into second citizen comment. This is a 1-minute comment to address the board. Again, we don't need individuals' addresses, but you may work to the podium and use your 1 minute to address the board.
My name's Edward Foley. My comment, I have a minute, so I have to be quick, is basically, I'm interested in the efficiency of our government. It's a sacred responsibility to take tax dollars and spend them efficiently. So, does Ross Township ever look at other townships and do benchmarking? How do we compare in terms of the expenses for fire, for police, for the different services that we provide? Is there any thought around, I guess, with the planning commission, how can we do government efficiently and communicate to our citizens? You know, perhaps Ross Township's doing a super job and nobody knows it. And conversely, maybe there's some areas we're overspending on. And that kind of communication gives the citizens a good feeling about their government. That's it.
Thank you for your comment, sir. Next.
Carrie Lynn Eliff, and I just had a comment regarding the fire, the $250,000. We just all voted on a mill or something, didn't we, for the fire department? So I'm just trying to figure out why there's an extra expense on top of that for the fire department. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Okay, very good. There being no further comments, we are closing the second citizen comment at 5:56 PM. At this point in time, I would be seeking a motion to adjourn. Our regular board meeting will be kicking off promptly at 6 PM.
That motion.
I'll support it.
We have a motion with support to adjourn until 6 o'clock PM. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries.
do half of it.
All right, it is now 6:03 PM. We are live. And I am calling the Ross Township Board regular meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, you may proceed with the roll call.
Trustee White.
Here.
Here.
Trustee Langshaw. Supervisor Hutchings.
Here.
Clerk Stage here. Treasurer Wiersma.
Here.
Trustee Harmon.
Here.
And Rob Fall is present.
Thank you. I am seeking a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
We have a motion and support to accept the agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion? All of those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving into the consent agenda, I am seeking a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion with support to accept the consent agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm going to abstain because I missed the January meeting.
Thank you, Trustee Beeks. So noted. Moving forward into citizen comment, we are asking that you please speak up. The meeting is being recorded for YouTube. We would appreciate if you clearly state and spell your last name for the minutes. I do not need a street number or a street address where you live. Comments are strictly limited to 3 minutes. Citizen comment is designed for one-way commentary to address the board. All citizens providing comments should address their remarks to the supervisor, board chair, who may respond to provide brief factual information. Board members will refrain from speaking during citizen comment, and if citizens need specific assistance, please contact Ross Township during business hours for additional guidance or information. Who would like to lead us off? Hi. Who would like to lead us off tonight?
Good evening. I'm Sarah Joshi, City Manager in Parchment. Here because I did read your recent court filing, wherein it sounds as though the larger communities want to leave the Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority. And as a city manager of a smaller community, I just wanted to offer the perspective that if from where I stand, it seems that our unity is what keeps Kalamazoo County strong. And we've always worked together really well to solve our issues. And so respectfully, I just wanted to encourage you to continue to work together to, in that spirit of unity. The other thing, I was rushing to get here. The other thing that I wanted to mention was to correct an error of fact that I found in the filing, which is related to the termination of an agreement with another smaller municipality of which I used to be the city manager. I can tell you that without speaking to any particular personality conflict, it was always the intent of that community to leave Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority, simply because we were waiting for a local staff member to obtain his water licensure so that we could take the water system back. So certainly don't know what the personality conflict may or may not have been, but that community did not leave over that. So again, just respectfully, I hope you will stay with your agreement and continue to work with the smaller municipalities. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Next.
My name is Carrie Lynn Eliff, E-L-I-E-F-F. And as much as I'm able, or anyone, any resident of the township is able to ascertain, the vote to approve the filing of the lawsuit must have happened in the November special meeting or the December special meeting. And we can't really know that for sure because of the continued and purposeful lack of transparency from this township board against the township residents. I really believe you know, because of going into a closed meeting, coming out of a closed meeting, and then being very vague on the vote, that once you turn over and you sign an agreement with the city of Kalamazoo, it really changes how the governance of Ross Township works and how they're able to manage water and sewer here. 2024, we saw a manufactured health crisis on Gulf Vista with the PFAS. Once it was noted that there was some lack of transparency, but also some false information given, that push to bring in city water stopped. Not the agenda probably, but at that time. The map shows 5 phases of city water around Ross Township. Sorry, my voice is very dry. Around Ross Township, the first 5 phases. I'm calling on the board to either end or modify, please, your lawsuit with Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority. I have no issue with the lawsuit against Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority. You can sue him over the overages that he did to my neighbors on Sherman Lake. You can sue him for RICO. You can sue him for mismanagement. But I'm calling on this board to not enter into an agreement with the city of Kalamazoo and take away the residents' rights. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
So, Ms. Eliff, I am going to address a little bit of misinformation that you just shared. This board, we cannot disclose what happened in closed session, but there was no dishonesty. We made a decision in open session, and that information has been provided. I will not argue with you. I'm giving you the information. I let you speak. Please allow me to answer you. That information is provided in minutes. You can come in and look at our minute book. You may read the minutes, and you can ask for copies of the minutes. But the minutes are available, and they show that all decisions were made in open session appropriately. Thank you. Next. There being no further comment, public comment is closed at 6:11 p.m. Moving next into various committee updates, I'm going to take the first window here. Do you need to take that? Okay. I would like to take a few minutes and address a couple questions that have been raised by township residents. First, a resident has raised question regarding my receipt of compensation to serve on the Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority Board. In this regard, as Ross Township's representative on Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority's board, I receive compensation from the authority as fixed by the authority board. For years, and under all previous Ross Township supervisors, the compensation was $50 per meeting. Recently, the authority board voted to increase the meeting compensation from $50 to $150. I voted against this increase in commissioner compensation, and so did Richland's representative. In this regard, we were outvoted, and the commissioner compensation was raised from $50 to $150 per meeting. As discussed with our attorney, attendance at Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority meetings is not part of my statutory duties as township supervisor. I am paid by the township for performance of my statutory duties. Any board member could serve on the authority, as this is not an official responsibility of my position as supervisor. In no way do I receive compensation from Ross Township for attending the authority board meetings. Instead, the compensation comes from the authority itself. The authority articles of incorporation state that each commissioner may receive reasonable compensation as fixed by the authority. The authority has determined to fix the compensation over my objection at $150 per meeting. This is the compensation for serving as a commissioner. It is my understanding from our attorney that when serving on municipal commissions, a commission member may not refuse the compensation set by the commission. Even if I did not accept the compensation, it would still be treated as income to me, as the compensation cannot be refused. I just wanted to clear the air with regard to this matter so that people understand I am being paid compensation to be on the authority board and that that is not part of my supervisor duties. The second matter that I wanted to address is a completely false rumor being spread about the township that the township board is bringing in public water to the township. This issue has previously been addressed by the township board in 2020-24 and firmly established that this board was not interested in bringing public water into Ross Township. The township board actually turned down a water project proposed by the city to bring water into the township as part of a PFAS project. This should reassure residents that the city has no power in Ross Township. This rumor that the township is going to be bringing public water into the township and forcing people to connect to city water is completely false. I just wanted to clear this issue up. It is now recorded on YouTube for future citizen reference before further false rumors spread. I also want to thank the residents for calling me and emailing the township asking for the truth. You all are greatly appreciated. That is all I have to say. Next.
Do we have police or fire out there? Doug, you're up. I'm calling you.
Okay, so January, we responded to 37 calls compared to 35 for the year before. So it's a slight increase. For those people that weren't here last month, 2025 was our busiest year ever. We responded to 512 calls. So the calls this month, January, 25 were medical calls, 5 accidents with injuries, 2 without injuries, a couple false alarms. Calls by area, 29 in Ross Township, Village of Augusta was 8. No mutual aid given. We received mutual aid. We had a well pump the box that burned up in the basement of the house on South Shore Lake Drive. So we had, when it came in as a structure fire. So we had Galesburg, Richland, and also we responded. And then we had a 2-car accident on Dickman Road. So we had the VA responded automatically. I have them automatic aid for Dickman Road for vehicle accidents all the way into the Village of Augusta for house fires and that. We had our regular trainings. We did a joint training with Bedford Fire. We also did some other trainings as far as software to try to help Jake try to get more people to get on the reporting. We also purchased some road flares for accident scenes that they do all kinds of different things. They flash, or you can have them in sequence, so they start from one side and keep on going to try to hopefully the people understand how it's supposed to work. We put our new trailer in place for water and ice and water rescue, so it's got the suits and all that kind of stuff on it. Two personnel attended the winter seminar, which they have speakers. Chiefs come in from all over the country that come in for speakers, and then two of my guys attended the line of duty death for the Hamilton Fire Chief. So we have met with I met with 3 or 4 of the different departments on the radios. We're in process of working with that. Jake is putting it out there to try to get some of the other departments that so we can have our vendor come in and see if any of the other departments want to work with us still, or so maybe we can still get a better price on that. I kind of would like to know, I mean, we've discussed a little bit at the fire board meetings, but where we're at as far as any major expenditures. The car accident that we had on Dickman Road, we had to cut the doors off, cut the roof off, cut the pillars, jack the dash up. The truck in Augusta that has my backup extrication tools has 2 or 3 issues with it.
The
Yeah.
truck or the extrication?
The truck.
Okay.
So as far as, which is the truck that we started working on 2 years ago, and then it's been kind of put on hold because of.
You mean
everything.
looking to replace? You're
Right.
working on, okay.
So I would kind of like to know where we're at, what we can do, what we can't do. I mean, whether it's with Rob, what Rob has said we can do, what we can't do, I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. Nobody knows it's been on hold for 2 years. So the truck is 30 years old. It needs to go. So, but it is my backup truck for extrication. If my main truck didn't get there for some reason, and that truck can't go, it makes me look pretty bad.
Sure, I appreciate that. And just so you know, you're bringing up great questions. And just so you know, I did follow up with the Village of Augusta. It was my hope that we would have had that agreement signed. We don't. Okay. That's what's holding it up. We can't have major purchases when we don't have a bona fide agreement. We do have a millage, right? And so I defer to, I guess, legal counsel on what, I hate to put Rob on the spot like this, to answer your question, but we've got to have our partners on board, or we have to know when we're making significant purchases if we're together with an agreement or we're not, and that's just where we're at. So,
Christina, would you agree that's part of it, right? The other part is the fact that the fire board has asked for a 5-year and a 10-year plan so that, we can see what the expenditures would be out. It's almost like what we talked about in our budget meeting. What do we have to do for our place here, right? So you're aware of that, right, Doug? They're waiting on a 5 or a 10-year
Yeah,
plan.
I mean,
Where do you stand on that?
So like some of this stuff has been even before, like the 5-year plan was even like expected of us. I mean, it's been kind of one of those that the truck is going on 30 years old.
Yep.
We're planning on replacing it and whatever. I mean, right now it's going to take a couple of years. The biggest issue that we have is with the delay. A couple of the other bigger purchases that I could have done, I can't now.
I understand
because
that,
of the,
but
because of the
but
added
what I think the
expense of
board
truck.
is looking for is, so you want a new truck. Right now, we don't have anywhere to put it. What would you do? Would you get rid of 1 or 2 trucks so that you have room for it? Do
Yeah,
you
the
need a
one truck,
building?
the one truck that's 30 years old would be gone.
Yeah, so that's the kind of plan I think that this group would need in order to start pulling the trigger.
Okay, which and
as
I
far as
thought
the
that's what
agreement-
we kind of started putting that in place. I thought is
I've not seen any capital improvement plan from the fire department. Has anyone else?
We do have a capital improvement committee. We have a vague outline of what our equipment is currently and replacement needs based on, estimated life on the particular equipment. So, I mean, we do have a rough outline, but
So it's in work,
Correct.
right? So we just need to have something, to present, I think, to the board. And as far as the agreement's concerned, it's going to be, if it's, the agreement says, hey, we have the place down in the village to store a truck, right? If without an agreement, if we just move out of that agreement, we may not utilize that then, correct? Is that part of a risk by not having an agreement signed?
Well, I think without an agreement signed, we're under the current agreement. So, I mean, right now, whether you acquire a fire truck or not, I mean, that's not a decision on my part. I don't know where you kind of think that I've been involved in that at all. I mean, it's really just a matter of I haven't seen like an offer, like a listing for the fire truck and all lined up, ready to go, anything like that. I don't know if that's been presented, but they would have to be presented to the fire board as it currently stands. So I don't think that's ever been done. I mean, Diana's on the fire board, Amanda's on the fire board. Have they brought to you,
So they started the
proposal?
process of getting proposals from vendors, and we're kind of told, you know, we can't make a big purchase right now, so every time the vendor puts together a proposal and we can't pull the trigger on it, the numbers change. So as far as finalized numbers to make a purchase, no, we've not seen.
I mean, because that could go to the fire board next, at your next meeting. The fire board can authorize the purchase of a fire truck. I mean, that's,
Doesn't it have to also come back to both the other boards, both the village and the township board?
it needs to be part of a approved budget. I mean, but that's,
Was their budgets were approved.
well, and is the fire truck purchase part of the budget? I mean,
So they would, correct me if I'm wrong, should bring the proposal to the fire board. Fire board approves it, and then if it was built into the budget, they would basically just come to our meetings, we're like, yeah, it's in the budget, and you're good to go. If it wasn't in the budget, then it's gotta be an amendment to the budget.
and is it financed? Are you financing the
Well-
fire truck?
At the time, we were planning on probably, but I am trying to get a hold of the people that would be leasing the truck like we did. We did a 1-year lease on the, I don't know if you can hear me or not, the 1-year lease on the truck the last time, because we didn't, it was like just in between, so we had like 6 months that we had to do a lease. I am trying to get a hold of that, because that's what Diana told me I was supposed to be doing too, which I wasn't aware of that, but, so whether we do like a $500,000 down payment, and then, because right now, we have put that on hold. It's been just one of those that it was,
A lot of communities right now lease them. So if you talk to a lot of your neighboring communities, they're leasing fire trucks with the option to purchase at the end of the lease.
Right.
Then you don't have to wait to save up all of your money for it. If you need a fire truck, you go get the fire truck. And then you make your payments, and at the end, you can purchase it if you want or not. So that's what a lot of communities are doing. So I think
I know Richland they're putting the money in so they can purchase their truck that's coming here by the end of the year again.
But I can tell you a lot of the communities
It's just
in
one of those that
county-
has been, and maybe not, it's just what I thought I understood, that you had said that we couldn't. So it was one of those, okay, we can't do anything because the lawyer is saying we can't, and
No, I think what is indicated is that you owe a 5-year capital improvement plan, yes? There's a committee that's going to help formulate this, and that is where you're going to land the specifics, which is, are you going to lease or are you going to buy? And then once you have those specifics, then it comes before the fire board, and then they approve your lease or your purchase. So those are the particulars. We can't, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a fire board. But what you're indicating is that the capital improvement plan needs to drive whether it's going to be leased or purchased. The committee needs to hit the ground to create that, and then the fire board will approve or not approve based on your information.
and then that's fine. I mean, it's one of those that we brought forward about 5 years ago that this truck was the next to be replaced, that we were going to start working on it. So we've been working on it for the last couple of years, but nothing has happened because of the agreement and saying that we can't make any purchases and.
Doug, I've not seen any capital improvement plan, so I think you need to start there and then bring that information forward, and then
Okay,
people
well,
can
we'll work on-
start.
We'll work on that. I mean, before this ever happened, that 5 and 10-year had never been brought up for us to even say.
I
that we
think
had
it's
to do-
because
No.
what Rob just said, there is discussion. I know that at the county supervisors board meetings, they are talking about doing a lot of leasing. So I think you just need to bring your,
Well, we'll go ahead and get that done.
your desires forward.
I mean,
Yep.
we started working on this, but like this last year was the first time I've ever heard of the 5 and 10-year capital improvement plan that you guys wanted. You never really asked before that before. So, I mean, it's kind of like this is, I mean, so we started working on it. I mean, we put what we were planning on, what needed to be replaced, like that truck, and a couple of other things when we came forward about possibly a boat. So that was kind of, so we can do that. I mean, I don't have a problem with that either. I mean,
And I think, Doug, you got to think, if you're looking at a 5-year plan, what do you need to replace over the next 5 years, over the next 10? I mean, 10 years ago, the truck you're trying to replace now is only 20 years old, right? So how old are your other ones? When do you need them? We have to take a look at, where we can build our millages accordingly to make sure we support that. We have to make sure we can house it and maintain it correctly. And it's not just the capital equipment in terms of a truck. In my opinion, it would be, what is your safety equipment needs? What are your radio needs? Because I'd hate to say, hey, we have $1.2 million in our, saved up over the years. We bought one truck. Now we have nothing. We can't keep our firefighters safe. We can't keep them in the, right equipment. So that all has to be part of that plan. How much money do you need in capital for all of that over the next 10 years? And then how can we associate our funding so that we can, satisfy that?
And I understand that part. That's not a problem. So it's just been one of those that we've been, like I said, we could have, whether we'd have done a lease or bought outright, but it's been on hold for almost 2 years now. So it's kind of, and all they do is the prices keep going up. So even if we leased, the money that we could have tried to set aside for is going to get just eaten up in the cost of the trucks. But so,
Everything's going up.
We've started working on it. I don't have, but like I said, until last year, year before, I was never on with the 5 and 10 year
Okay.
plans that needed to be in place. So, we heard that and we did start working on that. So, but,
All right.
How long
Good
will it
business.
take you to get the new truck once you order it?
it depends on what we want. What everybody agrees on and that. Right now a truck, if you build a truck from scratch, it's 2 to 3 years. So, and some
But
of them,
are you building a truck from scratch?
we're gonna have to start from scratch again to see what we're doing, because we actually had some trucks kind of in place that we were gonna look at. I called my vendor the other day just to see if by chance if they had any demos. I'm not opposed to buying a demo that they've taken to different truck shows and everything, and if it's gonna save $30,000 or $40,000, and does it have to be I'm not we've gone with just the white lettering instead of gold lettering that costs $10,000 to have its truck lettered. Do I care if it's got gold lettering? No, I'm not a,
Right.
so.
But, I think it boils down to this board 100% supports our fire department. Today, it's managed out of the fire board, and you've got to have a capital plan that has the horizon based on the needs of your trucks. You got to know what you want. So it should be, and I know sometimes you go and there's a deal. So like, here's what we have to have. Here's what would, hey, if I go and the luxury model's available at a discount, I'm going to take it. But here's what we have to have, non-negotiable. Here are some nice to haves if it comes with it. And then you have to do the analysis on a lease versus a cash, and it's a cash flow question. If I'm going to lease, you almost always end up paying more, but I'm not having to fund all that money out of pocket. And if you're using the vehicles, it goes to your maintenance costs. Lease vehicles you typically have lower maintenance costs than the ones when you get out further. So a lot of people will turn them. If anyone does a lease car, I keep cars so they stop running, but you turn them over every 3 years, you don't have the maintenance that somebody who's driving a 10 or 15-year-old vehicle. So I think the commitment of this board is we're behind you to get that. Get your capital plan, know what you want, get the proposals, and take them to the fire board.
Okay, and we can do that. It's just one of those that we have been kind of, I think the command staff was kind of the understanding from everybody that don't even think about it. So if that's.
Think about it.
We'll work, I'll get with Amanda and we'll make sure we have the 5 and the 10 year, because I've got another truck that's gonna need to be replaced in 6 or 7 years, so, but.
Get it
that'll
down.
be- so,
Get it down.
but, okay, well, I just wanted to clarify that because everybody on my command staff has been on the understanding that couldn't do anything, so.
Yeah.
If we'll get working on it again then, so, and I will definitely work on, for lease. Like I said, I talked to my vendor and he was gonna try to get me set up with the. guy that-
Fantastic.
The lease, so, but.
How long does it take you to sell a fire truck?
It just depends on when they get to be 30 years old, they're not worth much.
So they take them and part them out, or like what?
But there's some other departments because there's departments like the last truck we sold, We sold it to, I think it was a department in Kentucky. And it was 25 years old for us. It was going to be there down in the hills of Kentucky. It was going to be their.
It's gonna be
top-
perfect
it
for
was gonna
them.
be their top rank.
Okay.
Right, so, who
Okay.
knows, but, so.
All right.
I mean, okay?
Thanks,
Any
Chief.
questions?
And just one comment I wanted to make, because it may have, when we were doing the prior meeting, going through the budget, we may have gone through it kind of fast. So our fire department is funded from the millage. And so the millage comes in, not everything gets spent in a given year because we're saving up to buy a fire truck. So there's not an additional expenditure that is going to happen that's not part of that millage. If the millage were to run out and it wasn't funded, we wouldn't have a fire
We'd
department.
be SOL, yeah, so, but,
So we very much appreciate, this community has stood behind this fire department, and we are very blessed to the quality of equipment we have and the quality of our firefighters.
no, we have some very nice trucks. It's just that this one truck
Yeah.
is met its end of life and we need to, replace it, so. but-
Thanks, Chief. Appreciate you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
January was kind of a busy month. Sorry. January is a busy month. One of the things I want to bring to the board's attention and to the citizens' attention is we have had some serious fraud cases perpetrated in Ross Township, and it starts with the U.S. mail. What is happening is people put the mail in the mailbox, put the red flag up, and that red flag is attracting people that are stealing mail for checks. In this particular case I had last month, the theft wasn't on this end, it was on the business end at the other end. And what they're doing is they're washing checks and making the checks out to themselves. Now, this is a federal case. The postal inspector has a task force that's working it, but I don't want to see citizens get burned on this end because it's a big nuisance. The banks have to, will work with you, but it's very inconvenient and quite annoying. I would highly recommend, if at all possible, if you're computer savvy, to pay all your bills online using an automated system if possible. If that's not the case, take the mail to the post office and drop it in the blue box, either in Richland or at the park up there in Richland. I know that's inconvenient, but it cuts down on the problem and helps minimize it. Not necessarily reduce it, but definitely minimize it, okay?
We have a mail drop box in Augusta, right in front of where the old post office used to be. It's still there. And then you've got the Richland post office, and you got in the square right in front of the library, there's a
Right.
drop box.
Yeah.
So,
They don't mess with those, but they will, at night, go driving through neighborhoods looking for red flags that are up. And, at a minimum, they mess up anything you've tried to do or send out, thinking it's sent out, and it hasn't, Even, I've had a case where it was a young lady, grandma sent her granddaughter a card with a check in it, and they got that check. It actually was sent, the granddaughter lives in Missouri, but it got stolen and sent up here to Michigan and cashed up here at Michigan on her credit union. So it's a very sophisticated operation. That's why the federal government is working on it there. So I just wanted to warn the citizens so that, because it is obnoxious and a pain to fix it once it happens, so.
Christine, can we send out an alert via our email
Sure.
for those that are signed up, and maybe even post it on
Sure.
on our website.
The other thing of note that I wanted to mention is participated in the Cub Scout Pine Block Derby race last weekend. There was a special category race between the Sheriff's Department, Ross, Richland, and Augusta. Due to national security reasons, the results are classified top secret and cannot be discussed here, but it was a good time and we had fun with the kids, and I will avenge next year.
I take it you didn't win.
Yeah, I think he got shellacked.
That's a good take. So, but it was a good community event up there at St. Anne's Church there. So next year. Sound like a Lions. Okay.
It's fantastic.
All right. Thank
So Mary's got an announcement regarding the police chief and St. Anne's Church.
Yes, they honored the police chief by having a special mass for him up at St. Anne's last week. And I was in attendance, and so was the chief. And it was very nice that I think the students put it up for the chief. And so it really shows how much the kids up there just love him. So,
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Good stuff. Welcome.
Hi. Lori Phillips, Life Care Ambulance. Thank you for having us. And again, I apologize for the lateness of the report. Last month, we did have 23 lights and sirens responses. We had 19 non-lights and sirens responses, and we transported 29 of those patients. Our average response time for priority ones, the lights and sirens response, is 11 minutes, 22 seconds. The non-lights and sirens response average time is 16 minutes, 47 seconds. We received 2 call helps from Life EMS, and we gave Life EMS 1 mutual aid call. And then if you look down, staffing was actually 100% last month. So we're very, very happy with that. As you can see, the destinations are there. We're roughly spending between 50 and 70 minutes per call when we go. And it all kind of depends on which location we're transporting to. On the back page, you'll see our log. The only thing we have pending was our fire department liaison meeting, which I met with over the phone with Chief today. We don't have any outstanding issues. We still need to work on what training we're going to do this spring, but that hasn't been determined yet, but we'll be doing that.
Fantastic.
Okay. Any questions for me? No. And Mr. Slagle is here.
Good evening, Ron Slagle, also with Life Care Ambulance. So Lori gave the report specific to Ross Township. I thought I'd just share briefly some of the things going on a more global perspective in EMS. One, at the national level, we've had several government full and partial shutdowns last fall that would potentially have impacted ambulance payments from Medicare, a portion of that. Fortunately, the Medicare carriers decided that since the money would have been had to be retroactively reinstated to ambulance services, which they've done in previous years, they decided it was not worth the hassle. So they paid the rate that was supposed to be in there, even though Congress had not passed the bill to fund it yet. So fortunately, that it did not impact ambulance providers across the country nor us. So that was helpful. And then at the state level, still working to get a Medicaid increase as we move into the 2027 budget. We did get a significant increase in 2022 after going 20 years with no increase. So you run a business and get no increase for 20 years. That's where we were in Michigan with ambulance. So the legislature recognized that. The legislative intent was to be each year we then keep up. Unfortunately, the last several budgets, the late night negotiations did not always keep everything that was proposed to be in the budget at the last minute. So we are still froze at the 2023 rates, and we're now going into the 2027 budget year. So we're hoping to get that remedied as well. And then finally, fortunately, it's not been an issue for our Gull Lake ambulance, but we've had significant problems with Ford engines failing in ambulances, not only across our fleet, but all across the country. So we've actually filed a complaint with the Michigan Attorney General Consumer Protection Division. This has been at the national issue too. They have some defects in that engine. They thought they had remedied them. They're still ongoing, so hopefully we'll get those remedied. But in our fleet for Emergent Health Partners, of 150 ambulances, we've had over 80 engine failures in the last 3 to 4 years. So
What percent is that? How many you have altogether?
So about 150 ambulances, so more than
80.
50%. Yeah, so it's more common in the ambulance fleet because we do more idling. But it came down to a problem in one valve not keeping the oil pressure. So then they actually would blow the engine eventually. So some of those were under warranty and were covered, others were not. So it's been a major problem, and hopefully we'll get that resolved. But be happy to answer any questions if any of you have them for me.
Thank you for
All right.
coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lori.
All right, so
Is there an ambulance scorecard from the public safety committee?
not at the moment. So that's what I was going to just address. So we've one of the and I'll, the ball's in my court on this and working with the others, and so we're a little bit further behind than we'd like to be, but the concept that we want to go with is on the website, and we're going to use one of our in-house resources that has a propensity for this, is to have a public safety kind of site that highlights a picture from each of our departments. So kind of think of a nice picture from our fire department, our police, and ambulance, and then from there, and click in and get more details. So our fire department does and police department, really nice job. We want to highlight public relations so people can see that. We want to highlight some basic statistics so people can see that. And so that's the goal between this meeting and next meeting, is to have that ready to take a look at, hopefully even have it live up there. But as far as, and I got some really good feedback from you and from a couple residents and Christina on the kind of the direction that we were going. I think it's important to have some stats out there. You think about whether it's police or fire or ambulance. I mean, really what people care about is how quickly did you get there? And in all three cases, I think we've got some outstanding results when we look at them.
So, thank you for that update. And just so you know, Michael, we've got some coding issues with our website. And so our coding guy has been traveling, and when he lands, he's going to be able to redo a portion of our website and add the per discipline highlight box where we can park those stats, but we can't park those in there until they redo the code. We're working from a backup of our website from last Tuesday. So we've got some things that are missing. We've got to get that corrected. But thank you for that update, Lynn. So we've exhausted police, fire, ambulance, public safety. Any other trustees wish to give an update?
Can I don't know if I should bring this up now or later.
Oh, what is it? You want to
I want
talk?
to make a comment on it.
Can she make a comment on that, or do we need to update the agenda?
No, I mean, she can make any other.
Okay.
Okay, so I'd like to make a comment. Given to us this afternoon was the Gull Lake Quality,
Gull Lake Sewer.
Gull Lake Sewer and Quality Water Authority packet for this coming this coming meeting this week. And I went through it once I got it. I've gone through a lot of their stuff because I'm looking at how much money they're spending. And I just want to bring to the attention of our board here, there were a couple things on here in their upcoming budget. Their wages are going up 5%, where last year, I think they went up almost 12%, but 5% is still a lot. The average is 3%. They also have their wish list. I hope it's a wish list and not on their capital expenditures. They want to buy 2 trucks, and I'm assuming that both trucks cost $80,000, which is $160,000. They also want to put in a new well, which I know when I've gone to the meetings before was also supposed to be having a fire hydrant attached to it for, I guess, filling one of their trucks quicker with water. I also, this office space in the barn, I know this was cut down a couple of times in last year, and they wanted to put it in, they went after it twice. I'd like to see that be cut out again. I don't know why they can't just make an office area for the person that they want to put this office space in the barn out there. And I'm not sure what these outside doors are about. That's the first time I've seen that shown up on this. I don't know if this is for their barn or what. But I also noticed on here in their budget, they want to increase the rates of our user fees by 12%, which I'm not sure why. I think they need to begin to live within their means of what they have. I know last year, Bear Priest and Christina went after the budget quite heavily during the meeting, trying to get them to cut certain areas or to reevaluate this. But for me, this is alarming, and I just wanted to speak to it and bring it out to our public too, to make our residents aware that this is what's happening over there, and I think it has to stop. So that's, I don't know if anybody else took a look at this and they have any comments on it or not, but I did, and those are just a couple of things that stuck out to me.
I can say I have not looked through it yet because it just came through. But based on what you're saying, I'm certainly not shocked because I feel like this has been going on for at least a decade. I've been here since 2013, and it just, I mean, the 12%, it's just, okay, well, it's just become the norm for them. So, and why? Well, because of their spending habits. So it's quite evident. It's all on the budget. So, but I completely agree with you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Any other trustees would like to provide information on anything else in their world as a committee update?
I think ours was pretty well covered. The fire board, I think, was pretty well covered with Doug's comments.
Perfect.
Don't need to hear them again.
Perfect, thank you. Moving forward through contract for fire services with the Village of Augusta, I do know that I did reach out to President Thomas, and he advised that they will be voting on the contract at their council meeting, which is the first Monday of the month. Is that correct, councilperson? Thank you for verifying. So they will be voting the first Monday of March, and then we will be hearing an answer back from them. Moving into new business, I will be calling up the Precinct 2 update from Clerk Stage.
I'm sorry. So Precinct 2, as you know, last year we received a letter from one of the firemen concerned that we were using this building for our Precinct 2, specifically in November because we had the fire trucks pulled out of the building. They were concerned if the weather was bad or there was snowing that the trucks would take longer to be able to move and to go to the prospective call that they might have. After looking at that, talking with some of our election inspectors who didn't like being in the fire barn because of the exhaust smell from the trucks, which, I mean, I walk in the fire barn every day, but I don't smell that, but apparently some people are sensitive to that. So we took those things into consideration, and we went to Yorkville Church and reapproached them about moving the precinct back there. And they have accepted, they told us that they would like to have the precinct back, but I need this board to approve that move back to the Yorkville Church, and that's our recommendation.
So, Mary, you are making a motion to change Precinct 2 from Ross Township's campus to
Yorkville
Yorkville's
Church, yes, I am. So I'm making a motion to move.
Based on what you shared, I'll second that.
So we have a motion and support to relocate Precinct 2 from Ross Township's fire barn to Yorkville Church. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries.
And Mary, is there any discussion or looking at precinct 1?
No, we have not. I've gotten a lot of feedback from our residents that a lot of them like being at the YMCA. And I also do not know what, right now, as it stands, what the condition of the fire barn is down in Augusta. So, but one of the other things that we do have to take into consideration is the BOE, or I'm sorry, the Board of Elections of Michigan is now making sure that all of our precincts are ADA compliant. So they would have to meet certain guidelines in order to become precincts. And we are on their list for them to visit us and visit our precincts. When that will happen, they'll notify us and then I can inform the board. So we will take them to our precincts and they will look at them and evaluate them.
Okay.
And we have put in that stopping at the fire barn in Augusta. And so when they approach us as to when they're coming, we'll let the village know so that we can get in there.
Okay, yeah, I would just like to see us take a look at it and appreciate the fact you're going to stop there and maybe, besides give them a quick heads up, let them know that you've got that stop planned and you don't know when, you'll let them know the minute you know.
Right.
Good, thank you. The police services agreement, Martin, we talked about this during budget. Did you just want to reiterate for this group?
Yeah, I'm hoping to have something by next meeting there with you guys.
Okay,
It's in the works.
thank you. Moving into City of Kalamazoo land management signage. Amanda, would you like to take it from here?
Sure. Okay, so on February 6th, I received an email from Jean Talanda. She works for the city of Kalamazoo. What she stated was she was wondering if we could provide some guidance. The city of Kalamazoo has placed signage on some of their larger tracts of land, promoting their land management strategies to improve the conditions of their properties. She's getting ready to place signage on the Ross Township property, and it includes logos from agencies, et cetera, that have supported their work thus far. She sent us samples of those signs, and what she was wondering was if Ross Township might consider or us having our logo on their sign. So I posed it to the board to consider if we'd like to have our township logo on the sign. And so we're just looking to discuss and have feedback and decide as a board whether we're interested in that.
So of 6 board members that you were looking for feedback from, what did you get as far as in support and not in support?
So a mixed bag, really.
3 to 3?
I'm getting almost 50%. I could go either way, and again, the city of Kalamazoo says, their feelings aren't hurt either way. They just thought it would be nice to offer it to us, so I said, well, we'll throw it out there and see what everybody thinks.
So this, is there copies over there?
No, you can take those though.
So what the sign says, and
Anybody want my copy?
we can hand it around, City of Kalamazoo Department of Public Services, they own this property. And it happens to be in Ross Township. Land stewardship objectives. So water quality improvement, forestry and habitation regeneration, deer population control, invasive species reduction, erosion control. And healthy forests produce healthy creeks, wildlife habitats, and improve groundwater quality. And so when Amanda reached out and I looked at it, I'm in support of all these things, in support of people managing their lands. So, I think putting our name, our logo with it is saying that we support these things too. And we want people, private individuals and municipalities to manage their land this way. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's a positive thing.
I will reiterate, I'm in that camp as well. So I guess we should hear what the people who were not in favor of it have to say.
No, she just sent us some sample ones. She said that basically she's not a marketer designer, and she's just gonna throw out these ideas to her people that actually make the signs. And these are just some samples. So like included in those are, Kalamazoo Watershed, the DNR, I mean, all of these different, places are supporting their land management initiative.
I look at it too as if somebody walks up and sees the sign, at least they'll know they're still in Ross Township.
I mean, it's, 200 acres?
It's over 200 acres.
Not a park, not a trail
Trail system.
system.
Correct.
It's their
just
own land to
managing
manage.
their land.
As far as
I
my
am-
outlook on it, go, you want me to go or you?
Go ahead.
My outlook on it is I agree with you, and I agree with you 100% the way they're advertising it. Here's where my issue lies. I live right next to there. I drive by there. I watch them harvest the trees. I spoke with many residents who do live around there, who feel the same way that I do. I feel like, and I know that to harvest trees, you've got to go in there and harvest them. So, number one, they did it in the fall when it was rainy and wet. There is huge compaction issue now. There's water standing where there was never water standing before. That's the way it is down 37th Street. In fact, it flooded the road one day. That's the way it is on Greer Avenue, or Greer, whatever it is, Greer. And there's just stuff broke off in there. I don't know. I mean, I've been around things that have been logged off my whole life. And I do understand that there's going to be some damage done, but for them to promote that they are just making the whole thing a better ecosystem, to me is laughable, because I feel like it's going to be decades before that repairs itself like only nature can. So, and I also, my concern is we all know what that land is there for. It's their backup for their water wells. That's why they purchased it. They have all those water wells in there. And we know how the township is 100% against city water. And once those wells are tapped, you know what the response is going to be. People are going to be up in arms. And
You think that if our name's on a sign, that necessarily doesn't mean do the wells, that even before the wells are tapped, people are going to say, see, the board is sanctioning wells, and then once the wells, should they? I mean, they may or may not. I mean, one's got to believe at some point they will.
right, which we have no control over. But if
there's
we
some
have
zoning.
our logo on,
Yeah,
there,
there's some zoning things the planning commission have to work with them on. But I mean, it's their land. They built
right.
decades ago. But then it would appear that we are sanctioning that and just chomping at the bit to bring water to Ross.
You know how people's mind
Rumor mill,
run.
yeah.
So
Right.
I
but
just
you
think
can,
you're playing maybe a little bit playing with fire there. So my opinion.
Yeah, you can
So,
deal with facts because they're not looking to tap a well and send water into Ross Township. They're looking at tapping a well and sending water to their treatment plant, right? I mean, that's explainable.
There's no infrastructure.
Right, not today there isn't. But again, I think everybody has to recognize too that this board determined, right, there's going to be future boards.
Correct.
I mean, the decisions that this board made doesn't hold for 30 years. It
Correct.
holds until the next board comes in. So, but anyways,
I have some feelings on that, or thoughts on this, I should say. I too am fully, approving of land stewardship. I've been involved in it, and it is a wonderful thing to do. However, I happen to know some residents who have issues with the city of Kalamazoo concerning this property. And I feel like I want to support my residents who are having some concerns and some issues with the city on this property. And by putting our name on this, I feel like we're approving of what they're also doing to some of our residents, and I can't do that and fully support the residents here in Ross, so.
Anybody else want to?
Yeah, I mean, so what you're saying is because people don't agree with how they've done some logging,
No,
right?
they are taking, there is a, I,
That's why we have legal here.
can't speak to, but what the issue is with the resident, because I can't fully disclose that. So I can't,
Okay.
I
So against
can't.
one resident, that is the reason that you're thinking that keeping our name off of such signage that supports these things would be how you would vote.
Yes,
Okay.
One resident plus the many residents I brought to the
Right.
table.
And I think those are, I mean, they're valid concerns, and we do need to think about, what message do we send? But I also think we have to be careful that we're not getting caught up in what could have, should have. There's a lot that can happen. That's like, well, if we do this, everybody's going to think about this. If we do this, everyone's going to think about that. We got to be clear about what it is that we're stating. You're not going to be able to deal with every single rumor that gets out there that is completely unfounded. I think what Michael Beek said is critical that people need to know. It's no different than a government at the state, federal, at the township level. Whatever we decide today, the next board can go in a completely different direction. And the board after that can go in a completely different direction. So it's, I think we got to do, we have to vote our conscience, what we think is best for our residents and represent our township. And
I guess for me, I just would ask everybody to weigh it. Obviously, this may be obvious to you, but what's the risk versus what's the reward? So balance that before you make your decision.
So are we going to see a final of this before they stick it out there?
Oh, we can make any ask we want. We can change whatever it is they're putting on the sign, period. So I'm sure they would take that into consideration. And if we decide we don't want to do it at all, I mean, they're totally fine with that as well. Like I said, they just wanted to thank us for, they're in our township and within our municipality, so it's something that they
So,
can.
Amanda, in your opinion, if we had a little
Thank you.
statement on top of our logo that said we support these land stewardship objectives, they would be able to do that?
I'm sure we could ask them. We could make that ask.
Because to me, I think we do support those objectives, right? Now, whether they have done everything in the past to, be 100% compliant, maybe not. But the fact that we support those and have our name on it and people would see the sign, I guess, I know we're in a mixed crowd and we're going to have a very close vote on this, but I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we move forward with putting our logo on it with the statement that we support these land steward objectives. So it's not assumed that just our name is on it. And,
It's not a partnership.
right,
We
and it's not a
support the
partnership.
objectives.
We support the objectives. And then also gives us some opportunity if they do something in the future that doesn't look like they're supporting the objectives, we might have a chance to say, hey, we got some skin in the game. What are you doing? Right? Because right now we don't do that. We just have neighbors that are upset. So I'll make that motion, and with full recognition, if somebody abstains and it's 3-3, doesn't get passed, right? If it gets voted, it needs 4 votes, I think, to do it. So
Be true.
my motion.
So I like the partnership with the DNR. I know I also live in this area, and I like the fact that it's going to say, hey, we're here and we're managing this property. when I walk Greer Road. Makes me sick that there's mattresses and tires that are on Greer Road. I would hope that the fact that there's a sign here that shows that they're actively managing this property, that people won't dump there. I look at it as a way to police the investment of that piece of property. But I fully agree with what you're saying. It's people that are not here to see the vote tonight are going to become unhinged, and they're going to feed the rumor mill, which is really unfortunate.
Could we postpone the motion to, if next month's not too far, and ask them to bring in a final,
Yeah, we can definitely make that ask,
and so we can see it?
see what it looks like.
And with that request, and so if they come back and they say, yeah, and here it is, then we can look at it and then take the vote. Would you be okay with that?
Well, it hasn't been seconded, so as long as it's not seconded, it would be postponed.
It wasn't second, so we'll just withdraw the motion.
And-
It just dies for lack of support.
Okay.
So Amanda, it's on you to request a mock-up.
They didn't put it on the agenda for next month?
That way we can see it, and I think we'll feel better about looking at something that's more tangible.
The meeting minutes should reflect that, right?
Right.
Correct.
And
True.
then, do we need to, whether it's James Baker or, I mean, if we've got and I had our land log, so, I mean, there's things that, as you said, you know, they don't come and sweep up after themselves, and they don't take everything. Makes nice firewood, but do we need to have somebody come in and talk to us about maybe what they're doing if they left a situation where it's flooding?
I'm not opposed to that. I wasn't aware that Greer Road flooded. I know that Forest Beach is, and I know the Road Commission is actively working on that. The fix for Forest Beach, which is right in your area, and mine for that matter, is those individuals that live back there are most likely going to have to pave or regrade that surface. So Road Commission can't do it for free, and so that's the fix for that. But I was not aware that there was some cause and effect on Greer Road. But I think it's important to bring the city here, and then we can address Trustee White's concerns, his observations. They can come in.
Maybe bring the road commission. I mean, Larry's not here tonight, but he's usually here quite often. Maybe give him a heads up so they could communicate and come in with at least knowing what the issue is and being able to speak to it.
Give the citizens a chance to know that it's on our agenda seriously, and if you got a complaint, come to the meeting.
I like it.
And then Todd, if you know the residents that have an issue, let them know. Hopefully we'll get confirmation that it'll be next meeting. That'd be great. Thanks for bringing it up.
Slow moving. People can come. I had somebody today that I shared this information with, so people can receive the information and look at what we're looking at. So it's thoughtful feedback and important. Thank you.
Is that something we can put on our website? Well, I guess see if you got the meeting date first.
I mean,
Yeah, I can get the mock-up and.
get a mock-up and bring it here. Yep. Okay, we'll put it out there.
Make sure you put that it's a mock-up and has not been approved.
And it has nothing to do with bringing public water into Ross Township. It's a sign. It's a sign. Correct. Thank you. All right. So one of the bills, I didn't talk about this. One of the bills that's in our packet, I'm asking you to pull it out. It's got orange on it, and it's from the City of Kalamazoo Treasurer's Office. It is for 2026 Annual Hazardous Materials based on Kalamazoo County Intergovernmental Hazardous Materials Response Agreement. I did ask Emergency Services to do a letter to our trustees. It's right in front of your microphone, explaining what this project is. And it's basically, if we have a hazardous spill, we have a hazardous explosion, we have a hazardous event. Our fire department here doesn't have the equipment to put out the fire. They don't have the manpower to put out the fire. So what does that mean? We're going to be invoiced to be a part of the Kalamazoo County Hazmat Response Team, and this is dues payable to be a part of that greater good in the event that we have an emergency hazmat incident. It doesn't need to be like a township it could be something very small in our community. We just don't have the manpower. We don't have the resources to put something like that out. So that's what this invoice for $1,600 is for, and I stuck it in there along with an explanation on what it was.
So do we determine this to be a fire board or a fire millage expense or a township expense?
Oh. Yes, please. Can you come to the podium so we can hear your voice, Chief? Speak loud.
So this isn't anything new. We've been doing this
Correct.
for about the last 10 years. It's always come out of my budget. So if you guys, I'm more than happy if you guys want, if the
So
if
it's
the
in-
township wants to pay for it, I'm more
let
than
me just,
happy. To-
cut
So
you
that
short
gives
a
me
little
more
bit by
money to
saying
spend.
It's in your budget then.
Yeah,
All right, I'll make
it's just
a-
I think it's been
I'll
one of
make a
those,
motion
it's
that
been
we
one of
approve.
those that we've been paying for years
Yeah.
and then, so, I mean.
But wouldn't the fire
and
board
it-
then?
It has,
Under the current circumstances, that the fire
No,
board that would approve it?
we have to sign it as a elected board. And
I'll
so,
make a motion that we accept this $1,600.
it does have to
and
go,
pay it.
it did have to, because they have changed things around, so.
Doug
with-
used to sign it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then now with Matt Beauchamp is kind of the lead for it. The way they've changed things around, it has to go back to the township now. But
Okay.
just like everything else, I think next year it's going to be like $2,000 or $2,200 next year. So
So Doug, does this cover like an EV fire?
it covers anything that we. So if it's like if a tanker spills out here, if we have to have whoever, we have the hazmat team that will come out, and because of course, and then we try to collect on whoever the cause of damage from their insurance.
Correct.
But that's just about anything that is anything that's considered a hazardous material. I mean, so a fuel oil spill at your house, actually one of the transformers, that's a hazardous. I mean, if the transformer blows up and dumps all the, there used to be PCBs in all those transformers. I think they've changed them around now, so they're not as quite as many hazardous chemicals in it. But so.
Okay. Well, this is good information. Thank you, Chief.
So-
So
Appreciate you.
basically, before you sit down, you say it's been coming out of your budget for like 10 years. Well, how often are we using this service?
It's one of those that hopefully we don't have to.
So it's basically an insurance policy.
It's an insurance policy. Climax had one a couple years ago, and they opted not to. So I don't know where it ended up, but Climax decided they didn't want to spend. They didn't have like the $1,200 or $1,400, and opted not into it. And then they had, I think it was a tanker truck, or even so a milk truck with milk in it. That's hazardous.
Oh my God.
It is. So, which I didn't know that until about 10 years ago. Hickory Corners had a tanker truck, a milk
drink it,
tanker
but you
truck
can't
that spilled,
spill it.
and it was they had to call the hazmat team because
Doug,
raw milk is a hazardous waste.
have we ever had it in Ross Township? We had to use it?
We've had a couple times just small spills. We had a tanker, or not a tanker, but a semi that the fuel oil tank spilled. We have some like dikes and diapers and just about everything else that we try to containers to try to collect as much as we can. So it has to be like over 50 gallons, I think, to consider. So before
When the
it's cons-
trash
Huh?
truck dropped its stuff, would that be considered his?
They came and cleaned everything up. The company did. Since it didn't really go anywhere. They came and cleaned it up.
Okay.
So and it didn't go anywhere after that. But this is more like, so if it contaminated the ground,
Right. Okay.
something like that. So
Thanks, Chief.
Is this agreement also covering the regular household hazardous stuff, or is this two separate agreements?
No, this is two separate ones. This is just the hazmat for the fire department. So
The motion.
I'll move we
motion and
sign the
support
agreement.
to pay the $1,600 for Kalamazoo County Hazmat Response Team coming out of the fire budget.
I had made the motion about
I
5
got the
minutes
support
ago.
then.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Did I cut you off? Trustee White, did you want to add?
No.
Okay,
no, you're fine.
very good. Moving forward into household hazardous waste recap agreements, one of the things that they've been talking about, they come to the Kalamazoo County Supervisors meeting, and they have been really hitting it hard. These lithium ion batteries, people put them in buckets out in their garage, and the two ends get together and are creating fires in people's garages. And so they're really hitting it hard that we continue to renew paying for this service for our residents, so they will take advantage and get rid of all the dangerous things that are in their garage. One of the things that I was really delighted about was the fact that they will also take like ortho pesticide sprays, Roundup in great big gallon containers, things that you don't want to throw in your trash can, you can drop off there. And all they do is just ask you for your ID to show that you're a Ross Township resident. So one of the things that we need to approve tonight is the amount that Ross Township will spend on behalf of our residents to ensure that they are taking their hazardous waste to household hazardous waste on Lake Street. And I'm having a difficult time getting my hands on the agreement. Who has it? Clerk, do you have it? So the amount on the budgeted household hazardous waste, according to our budget today, was $7,433.51. True? So it looks like it's asking for a municipality fill-in disposal amount of $7,433. We're going for the full amount. We're going to round up to 434.
You can round it up.
434 even. So I am filling out an addendum for $7,434 to household hazardous waste to continue to pay for our residents' waste.
So
on Lake
moved.
Street.
I'll support.
Motion and support. Any further discussion?
So how are these, each time a resident drops off something, it's logged and they keep until that amount is used up?
Yes.
And then they do what? Just charge each resident after that?
No, they would charge us. And they
Come ask us.
They
They
come
tell
ask us for more funding.
I think in the time I've been here, I think there's 1 year they had to come and ask.
It doesn't get used up, what happens to the remaining funds?
Just doesn't get spent.
I don't think they charge us. I get a bill from them according to how many residents have come in and used.
We don't pay them. We don't pay them up
This is a
front.
pledge.
It's a so we're committing that we're going to cover that amount and we pay as we go.
Got it.
Good discussion.
Yeah,
good
I'd like to.
clarification.
This would be another good topic to put on our get it on our website. I mean, I could even see under, I don't know, somewhere on the website. And I think the other thing that we want to put is prescriptions. We don't want people putting prescriptions in the trash. We don't want them flushing them down the toilet. There's a number. We could get a list of places. The Walgreens has it. Family Fair has a lot of the pharmacies have a drop off. So we could maybe look up a list of the.
Kalamazoo Township has a red box as well.
So yeah, so we could get that out there. I mean, it's not the same thing, but it's in that category.
I think also something like this maybe is something that should be posted maybe on the window. I mean, I know you can't post everything on the window. I mean, I guess we got a lot of windows, but I mean, I don't think very many people are aware of this.
Okay, so more website and then maybe a flyer at the front desk.
Website,
and-
maybe, yeah.
Because the reality, if people don't use it, they're dumping them, and it's
Right.
going to be leaching into our
Yeah.
groundwater.
Dumping their motor oil out in the woods or whatever they're doing. I don't know, but or if they think, oh, I can just take it down there for free. Then, yep.
Free is good
Not free.
for them. We're paying for it.
Taxpayer supported.
Right. I mean,
Yep. But to a resident,
nothing's free.
that is free. When they've got a bunch of things sitting in their garage that they don't want to deal with.
Disposing
More
of it rather
PR.
than storing it forever, like batteries or whatever. They mount up, catch fire.
That's what happened at Yorkville when they had to dump their on-fire garbage truck. Yeah, it was battery. Okay, more PR. So I'm open to discussion on more
Our
PR.
dumpster, we have a big one. They state what you can't put in there.
Right.
I had my my eyes open because we had a roof done yesterday, and guess what? I found some of their stuff in there, and that ain't gonna fly. I told them, come pick it up.
Good.
Are tires included in that too?
Pardon me?
Tires?
Don't know if tires are
Maybe we should get a
included.
list from them.
Yeah.
There's some flyers already out front.
Oh, are there? Okay.
Mary Carroll's
Don't
going
think
right now.
Tires are,
I gotta find a tire place.
have flyers and
I know you posted
So
last
we have
year. You
motions.
posted about the tires. I took a bunch myself, but that was nice. They had that
They
free
do it-
recycling day.
Yep, they do a recycling day, and
Right.
they only do it for that day. They move it out. I know that Road Commission does a road down in Vicksburg that's all ground up tires, and I guess it's a test strip,
Oh, yeah.
and it's holding up very nicely. So eventually we'll be looking
Go
at
down
that.
Greer and get all kinds of them.
That makes me sick. I know. I hear you.
Somebody dumped a huge pile on Augusta.
Yeah, by your house.
And there's another one in Galesburg, toward right heading into Galesburg.
Mary Carroll's got. Can you look and see if what days they have a tire drop off, if any, on there?
All right.
Putting you on
Go
the
and call
while you read.
You can call the vote while she's doing
All those in favor?
it. Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Yes, ma'am.
Does Life Care take prescription drugs back?
No. All right, moving forward to ZBA meeting schedule is provided. They set their own meeting times. We just need to vote it in, and then Mary Carroll will distribute it as accordingly. So the ZBA meeting schedule is contained in the board packet. And I know Planning Commission schedule will be coming next.
Yeah, and typically the ZBA is the first Monday of every month.
Right,
When needed.
this will be
When
a
needed.
resolution.
I resolve we accept the ZBA.
I have the resolution, it just isn't in the.
Yeah, you
Meeting
can just
schedule.
make it in the form of a resolution, then roll call vote.
So we have a resolution to accept the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting dates. Do I have a second?
second.
We have a motion and support. Roll call.
Did you,
I did the resolution. Amanda
okay,
supported.
I'm sorry, I missed that, that's why I was.
I'll talk slower.
Thank you.
I apologize.
Trustee Harmon,
Aye.
Treasurer Wiersma,
Aye.
Clerk Stage, aye. Supervisor Hutchings.
Aye.
Trustee Langshaw. Trustee Beeks.
Aye.
Trustee White.
Aye.
Very good, thank you.
Resolution passes.
Thank you. Moving forward, discussion point, neighborhood streetlight assessments. I got, Amanda, you're talking a lot today. All right, this is you, lady.
Okay, so our street light assessment districts haven't been evaluated since 2011. So right now, all of our street lights, we have 13 street light districts in Ross Township. So each subdivision pays for their own street lights. Each little district pays for their own on their taxes once a year. And those costs have not been evaluated since 2011.
I'm not hearing you.
Those costs have not been
you.
evaluated since 2011. Anytime somebody does a split of a parcel or a combination of a parcel within these areas, and we're talking Mid-Lake Park, Stony Creek, all those areas, those are no longer in the district because they've got different parcel numbers than what the district initially started at. So the areas need to be redistricted. We need to evaluate and see what actual parcel numbers are within the district, and then we need to make the adjustments to bring those accounts current, because right now we're basically the township's eating 50% of what we're getting charged for streetlights. So they're pass-through costs because the people that use the streetlights get charged the streetlights, and right now we haven't adjusted those fees since 2011.
And you can break it out for each of the 13?
Correct.
Okay.
What's the cost to get it assessed?
I don't know. So I talked to Rob about it, because anytime you redistrict, there's special assessment.
Yeah, we'd have to
Speak on
have,
that.
so we'd have to have public hearings on them. So we'd probably have a day that we'd set public hearings to basically re-inform all the parcels of the assessment and what the assessment amounts will be, and then would have to reassess them.
So what are we talking? that
We're talking
eating?
here, right? For the last 11 years, we've charged $9,860 to those residents to cover their streetlights, and it's based on either per lot or millage based, and we get billed directly from consumers for.
So we're eating about $10,000 and they're paying about $10,000?
Correct, so we pay about $22,000 a year for citizen streetlights, and we're charging $9,860.
And if, when it's set up properly, then you can, every year, you would consider whatever your increases are from the energy companies to make sure that the assessments are correct.
But we know
Incrementally
where the
increase it.
lights are.
Correct.
And we know who they should go to.
Which area, yep.
So we have to notify them, so there's a mailing cost to do that.
Yeah, all the costs will be part of the assessment. So the cost to the extent we have to reestablish anything, and have public hearings and mailings, those all come out of the special assessment.
So, question on that, reestablishing the districts, is that something Prine and Newhawk would do?
Well, essentially, I don't think you would necessarily need that. I mean, I think it'd be more working with the assessor to make sure that we have all the parcels in those districts, because we already have established districts. So what happens now is then we need to really look at all the changes that have occurred within that district, and there probably haven't been a whole lot, but you could have combinations or splits or other things. Those things should all be then, you take stock of each of the new properties or the properties to be assessed within the already created district. Then you do a notice with regard to that district and the spreading of a new role, essentially. New costs on them, and then you'd want to build into it also that it would be increased by whatever those energy costs are each year, so that you're not falling behind like that. Each year, you should be able to assess what those costs are.
So the current agreements say that we can incrementally increase by 10% each year to cover costs as they increase, and we haven't been doing that.
So does that hold you to 10% for the first year and then 10% for the second until you get caught up?
No, because we'll re-notice it out. So the whole thing with the incremental increases is that you don't have to re-notice it if you stay within those
Right.
bounds.
And
But
if one of
you-
if one of the 13 districts had no land division, right, then it's just a matter of what the costs are for those lights and how they're allocated across the number of properties.
Exactly.
And you're going to use 2011 as the base.
Correct, that's,
Yeah, so a lot of it will be just the assessor really going back through those districts.
It is-
no additional engineering costs.
No, I
to-
don't believe so.
Is there a way to make sure in the process, if somebody's going to split for whatever reason, that it gets dealt with at that time, so we don't have this?
Yeah, you can address that in the resolution.
And do we know today approximately what a household is paying if they're in a district? Do you have an idea what that amount is?
So it ranges anywhere from $2 a year to $60 a year. So like our Stonington has seven parcels and they share 6 streetlights. So the density of streetlights for a fewer number of residents, they pay the highest amount at $60 a year. So if we're talking, we were collecting $98.60, we need to be charging about $22,000, then we're looking at double, so.
So worst case, in that, they're gonna go up,
To $120
yeah,
a year.
$60 a year, or, $5 a month. Somebody else may only go up a couple dollars. All right. And I would just suggest that we try to schedule things to happen with the current meeting right before. So we're not having a special standalone meeting. It's a special meeting, but it's not standalone.
So is this something we want to tackle in March, Treasurer Wiersma?
I
Rob?
would think we need.
Okay.
So I would say, probably, a few months to get it together and then bring it to the board. But we'll have to notice out, a public hearing on it.
Do we need a motion to go ahead and start
Let's-
the body of work and process?
Bring that back when we have a little more certainty about when, and then we can
Okay.
do a motion to set a hearing date on it. But I don't think that I'm prepared today to say when that will come forward. I think we got to work with the assessor and make sure we've got everything all set.
I have one more question. If in these 13 districts, let's say there's 1,000 poles, does each pole have the exact same cost associated with it?
You have LED poles, you have, I've got a survey from Consumers Energy on the types of, energy, like high-pressure sodium, and each, like the wattage per pole, so
Okay.
each of them are different. So each district has even a couple of different, you've got your overhead hanging ones. Each district has a couple of different varieties, so they're charged differently.
And if somebody runs over a pole and I know Consumers Energy will come in and replace it, then that district would have to cover that cost because that would be part of your $22,000, right?
I don't think we've ever been charged for anything aside from energy usage. Now, if a district decides we need a light here, we need another street light, and they bring in another one, it's usage as far as I know.
Right. Okay.
Is there any opportunity, if there's an inefficient set of lights, do we just, reach out to consumers, and say, hey, you need to change this out?
Yeah, we reach right out to consumers if we've got, if there's a light.
Or,
Well, if you-
not working, but it's
Want to change the type to, say, LED or something.
something more
A
efficient.
lot of times they'll charge for that.
Yeah, is that up to us or is that up to the residential neighborhood or whatever?
Well, it would ultimately be up to us, but then that charge is going to go to that.
Right.
How many lights do we have in our township?
Each of these are different streetlights.
Oh,
So,
wow, that is a lot. I mean, it may be in some cases, if there's some highly
All right,
inefficient
and
ones,
the LED ones are half the cost of the solar ones as far as usage.
yeah, and, so it's like, what's the payback, how many years would it take to, if you spend $100 today, but then you've paid
Is that
for it in 2
something
years?
people could bring forward?
Yeah, I think if
Let us
the
know.
residents in a neighborhood wanted to upgrade their light poles,
To ma-
could ask consumers for a quote. 'Cause I-
Absolutely,
yeah, quite
yeah.
often, they'll come in with a quote for what it's going to
But
cost.
can we take that, is that in a spreadsheet format? And can we filter it by, here are the ones that are inefficient,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can, it's already filtered by.
inefficient ones? Yeah.
And I'll
so
just
then-
share from experience because I live over at the woods at Stonehenge and I'm the one that deals with Consumers Energy. We have a light bulb goes out, they come in, they're putting in the high bright LED. I can tell you there's 3 street lights left where we're waiting for the light bulbs to go out. We've never been charged anything outside of what we
Did they,
get
they
access.
took it from another style to LED?
Yeah, and,
So you're
and
saying-
very bright where,
Did they put in a new pole, though?
no,
Or
no new
yeah.
pole. No, no new pole. But we did have a pole that did get knocked over, and they had to come in, and they had to replace the entire pole. Our road was a little too slippery for an Amazon truck.
So did you get charged for that? Did you get charged for that replacement of the pole?
No, we never did. Not, I mean, again, I would see all the bills for the association, and we never did. That's why I asked if you get charged, and they were supposed to bring it out across.
I've
They were
never
across
seen
the,
anything like that.
I just want to go on the record that we're not encouraging anybody to use a BB gun to shoot out the light to get a better replacement.
It is on the record. All right, so we're just going to talk about that in the future.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I'll get with the assessor to see what we're looking at.
Perfect. All right, moving into second citizen comment. It is 7:36 PM, clerk. Somebody, hold on, I gotta start my timer. All right, you know the rules.
I do.
Go.
Jim Corstange, Corstange. First off, thanks for everything you do. We appreciate it in Ross Township and enjoy coming to these meetings and supporting the majority of the people here in Ross Township. Mary Sage kind of said something in this meeting that got me really thinking again. A 12% increase in the Gull Lake Water and Sewer budget. Did I hear that correctly? I know you can't talk back and forth, but a good nod would help, and you just did that, so thank you. When I moved here back in 2013, when I moved into Ross Township in 2013, my sewer bill was $30 a month. It's $60 right now, and now it's gonna go up another 12%. Okay. The question I have is, last time this increase went through, the Gull Lake Sewer and Water Board voted for the budget for their facility, which included an increase in cost. But then the board, your board, our board had to vote on it. And if they said no, if I'm not mistaken, then the township would have to then pay for the difference instead of bringing it on to the residents. So my question is, why are Mr. Crum bringing it to the vote here, or to there, before it comes here for an approval? That doesn't make sense to me. Now, if you don't know anything about the board over there, Mr. Crum's got 3 of them in his back pocket right now, as far as I'm concerned, and that's my opinion only. And all it takes is 3 to get the thing passed. So if he goes on Thursday and gets this approved, and then you guys say no, who's stuck with the bill?
So you're over time.
That's not 3 minutes already?
Well, you get 1.
Oh, sorry. Hey, thanks for everything, okay?
So I like the fact that we're having this conversation, because I hope the residents that are watching are going to show up at Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority on Thursday. I know that it's disappointing when I show up as a commissioner and people aren't there. And I'm not. Everybody works. People are busy. I get it. People have other jobs, but we're at a point, because we do have a civil action with them. We need residents to show up. People need to understand how the sausage is made. They need to watch it. And they need to pay attention. And what you say is true. I expect to be outvoted on Thursday with this rate increase. In years past, we do have the executive director come here, and he does have to pitch why he is increasing the rates. It is my hope that we have a thoughtful and productive conversation on Thursday, and we can get him to see that rates don't need to be raised. We actually provided an alternative budget to Gull Lake Sewer, which is a nice budget without raising any rates at all. We're going to go in Thursday hopeful that that is considered by the other municipal townships, because we now have civil action looming over everybody's head. It is my hope that they will not vote in a rate increase. But it's also my hope.
I know my time's up, but those 3 voters have only 12% interest in the whole system.
This is
Hey,
true.
thanks, guys.
Thank you. So once again, I'm just reiterating to folks, if you're available Thursday at 1:30, I would love to see you in a chair at Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority right down the road. Next, for public comment.
So for Mike, talking about the polls, if the Amazon driver damaged it, they usually try to collect on whoever damaged the pole. So it goes to your insurance company, whatever. So, consumers, when we've had gas lines damaged by a contractor, they wanna get all the information, so they bill, so they're not, so like your little, your community there, your community there shouldn't be getting charged for that, so, and as far as the.
I agree with it.
Yeah,
Knowing
so that it's supposed to go to your insurance company. I mean, there's some people that, I mean, when it's a kid with a car that doesn't have any barely enough money to pay for gas,
And let me
they're
be clear, I should
out of-
not have said Amazon.
well, no, but I mean,
Nobody saw it.
consumers energy looks for this, I mean, they want it, so if we go to a call and this contractor, his boss, the company he's working for, if he's a subcontractor for another company, they get all the information so it can get passed on. So consumers isn't eating they have
I
to
will take
still.
that into
And it's
consideration
kind of
if it
like,
happens
it's
again.
kind of like the garbage trucks or anything else, when they pull the wires down, try to get as much information. A lot of times the trucks are long gone, and so they try to, unless there's a
Yep.
whole stack of lines that are gone. As far as the lights, I have I think it's a sodium light in my parking lot at the station. Cost me $40 a month. for a sodium light for my parking lot. So I have a street light in front of the station too. I don't know where if that's
You gotta talk to Amanda.
part of I don't know which one it is, but I do have a separate sodium light, but it cost me $40. It was like $20 some a month. It's up to $40 some a month through consumers. So
Yeah.
well, I don't have a like Mike does over there in his plat.
You're on a curve, come on.
Need to clean off the eye so it's not on as often.
I got cameras all over my station anymore too, so I can't get away with it.
Nope. All right, next up, for public comment, you have your 1 minute. Anybody?
Carrie Lynn Eliff, Elieff, and I just wanted to make a couple clarification and corrections. In 2024, the reason why the Gulf Vista neighborhood was looking at getting a water main put in is because of a manufactured health crisis of PFAS. The residents in Gulf Vista were misled. They were told that there would be no mandatory connection, and then they were told that, 50% of them would have to connect. That new information really was the reason why the township stepped back from an agreement with the city of Kalamazoo. They didn't just willy-nilly decide to step back from an agreement. An agreement with Kalamazoo City Water changes the authority of government. The Kalamazoo could and most likely would mandate water regardless if the township had a water ordinance or not. And I don't know how many of you know that, but that's what could happen. And thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? I just want to reiterate for the record, this board holds the authority to approve or not approve water in our township. It's not the city of Kalamazoo. And the only entity that really can override the Ross Township Board would be the state, not the city of Kalamazoo. I just want to make that record very clear. I'm not an attorney and I don't need to provide it, but that is civics and that's government 101. Any other comments? Trustee updates? I am closing public comment at 7:45 p.m. Thank you, Trustee Beeks.
I have one more thing that I'd like to say. I talked to John Thomas from the Village of Augusta today. We spoke on the Material Management Planning Committee that he sits on, along with some people from Eagle and other people from our county. It is a committee that was put together to discuss recycling in our county. Currently, right now, the village does have the means of recycling for their residents, which their residents pay for. So I'm not encouraging people to go down there and recycle there in the village because the village people are actually paying for it. But he approached us because the Eagle is looking on expanding the recycling of household material, paper, cardboard, et cetera, so forth. And they are looking at permanently putting some things down, permanently putting some things down in the village for that purpose. They're still in the investigation stage. He wanted to inform us in case our board would like to help out with future costs. So this is something that we would look at maybe in our next budget coming up for 27-28. I told him I'd bring this to the board, make us aware of it. He's working on a plan. He will bring that plan to us so that we have a chance to review it.
I think one would be, what's the cost, you know? I mean, hopefully everybody's recycling. I think the closest is over on Gambit, off of Sprinkle. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, we're heading over there all the time with our different, already separated. So, I mean, it would be nice, but we'd have to look at the cost.
Right, well, he also said that he will bring that proposal to us with the costs that will be involved. He also told me that they were speaking to Charleston Township also, so the community's close together, so this would be for a community-wide in our area, that would be helpful. I just wanted to also tell you that the meetings for the Material Management Planning Committee is the second Wednesday at 2 p.m. at the Road Commission building, if you ever wanted to go. So, something on our radar.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? No? There being no further discussion, I'd be seeking a motion to adjourn at 7:48 p.m.
So moved.
Motion with support to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Have a good night. Thank you, everybody, for coming.